Today is gonna be a fine day. It's the diary entry is long. At some point when I was at Princeton, I realized that by just thinking of the problem I was working with in my research was very my horizon was very narrow, and I went to the PU bookstore, the Princeton University bookstore, and to look up some books, etc. It was very good. So one of them was on modern German culture. I didn't know I was going to Germany then. I haven't read the book because it was very technical, rather than uh, it was. I mean, from the structure of the book, as I browsed it, the modern German culture was not something you can fall in love with. So I didn't read the book. So going fast forward, and in Berlin, in my very beautiful neighborhood, I went to a Greek restaurant, which was very good. And so I tweet, and um, I had started formulating some theories about Germany, and so I did an experiment, kind of. I don't remember if it was an experiment. I used to do like these types of social experiments all the time back then, so I don't remember if it was an experiment or it happened by subconscious experiment. So I opened this book. It must have been an experiment because the book was in my bag. So there were two, three German people sitting next to me, and so I opened the book. No, it was an experiment. Okay. So I put the book on the table so that it is visible, and I started opening it. And I had already guessed what was going to happen. So the the people that were next to me sitting, they started talking about Nazis. So I think this is highly ridiculous. So, in my opinion, what happened in the Second World War was that a headless golem was created by an interaction in Germany, I mean, by an interaction of various factors. So it's like if you have like a headless state, um, it becomes a devil. So that's what happened in Germany, I think. It was so basically, I don't think that Hitler did not like the Jews himself. Maybe he did, okay? He did not like the Jews, but it was not like his own fault. And so the people he commanded were not their fault because they obeyed what Hitler did. But Hitler was also commanded by something which was probably an academic principle. So no one took responsibility, and you had a downward spiral being created. I'm not trying to remove responsibility for the Jews for the Holocaust from Germany. I'm just trying to understand how it happened. So this is important. So I don't think even Nazis Hitler-based thing is completely to blame about what happened. So I think that this should be studied. So when I was at Princeton, and now changing again, I had the privilege to attend a lecture by a national security agency person, um, and he brought to classroom because it was an undergraduate class at Princeton, an Enigma machine. Um, so I will continue. I would like to make a parenthesis here, and I would like to discuss my vision on an urban eclectic. Uh, so so this is related to my I call them mine my neighborhood cats, who are very beautiful. And something I would like to do is like create a medical service for them. I believe there could be a provision by the government, local government maybe, to take care of their medical issues. Because one of my cats, twice this happened, they came to me and they told me, look, my eye, it's not very good. And I don't know what to do about it, but I will slowly, I have already started thinking about how to provide medical service to undomesticated cats. This is a great opportunity for other cats and other animals to leave their homes and instead of living imprisoned in their homes, to actually start socializing with each other. I saw a mother yesterday guiding her child how to walk in front of other people. So the child must have been very embarrassed of that. So if you put leashes on the dogs and cats don't take leashes, that's very good. If you put leashes on the dogs, it's a problem, I think. They are not stupid. I remember a friend of mine at Cambridge had posted some videos on related to showing dogs driving. So if you can provide some basic elementary education to the dogs, I don't think you need to put a leash. And putting a leash on the dogs is a very big problem. Um, Although there are some cases where it's good. So children, human children, to understand many more things than you actually realize. They understand, so mothers are a very big problem when they guide their children like that. So this Damask Rose eclectic, my urban eclectic, of to create an infrastructure for life that loves humans, because you do not want to put lions and at least yet in such a thing, for life that loves humans and wants to be with humans, to thrive together with humans, so that they can both thrive. Um, so we'll continue. The real topic of today is Berlin and the National Security Agency. How are these things related? So when I was in Berlin, I thought about a very important problem, which roughly goes as follows. I'm not sure how to describe it very well, so these are mostly like carefully thought out draft thoughts, but carefully thought out. So suppose that you have Alice and Bob, and they want to communicate, and Alice knows that Bob uh, has feelings for her, and he has implicitly or explicitly asked her to 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 tell him how she feels about him. And so so the Alice can send only one bit to Bob. Bit is 0 or 1, so it's I love you, I don't love you. And Bob must understand from this one bit how Alice's feelings are. So, um, so basically the issue here is that if there is an eavesdropper, Eve, and she overhears the bit, she will do something. For example, she can try, if Alice says to Bob, I love you, then Eve will have sex with Bob so that he forgets. The bit goes to oblivion. So let's try to abstract the situation. We have two parties that want to communicate, they want to exchange a bit, and there is a third party that is eavesdropping. Um, and the third party will do something. So now the thing is, Alice is an extremely intelligent human person. Based on what the bit will send, the question is, does she know Eve exists or doesn't she know Eve exists? So if e and So let's go back to the Enigma machine. So there is someone who sends a bit attack or don't attack. And the question here is, this is a problem, obviously. If there is Eve that knows attack or don't attack, then Eve will take some action. The, so if you encrypt the bit, so with one bit it's not clear how to encrypt it, but if it is possible. If you encrypt, so CF Shannon's information theory in perfect forward secrecy. So basically, if you encrypt the bit, um, so if you encrypt the bit, does it matter? So basically, if you follow with all due respect to their intellects, the Silvio Michalis and this what's her name? Safi Goldwasser. So if you use their scheme, now we cannot do it. But there are other ways to encrypt the bit. So the question really boils down to the following. Does it matter if you encrypt the bit? I think the problem is significantly more complicated than whether you can encrypt the bit or not encrypt the bit. The real question is, does Eve exist? If you know that Eve exists and there are actions she may take, so imagine the situation. If Alice knows Eve exists and so suppose Eve has two actions and she knows Eve exists and she has two actions. So it is in Alice's interest to use Eve to perform either of those actions. But in reality, for example, in the Pierce's Love You More song, so in reality, you don't want to use Eve to tell Bob you love him because it creates a very negative loop there. So basically, what you want to do, so Alice wants to tell to Bob, let's assume, for example, that she loves him. So if Alice loves John, she should tell him directly. The question is if she tells him directly and Eve finds out, and also Eve likes John, or Eve doesn't like Alice, it will be a problem. But if Alice knows that Eve is there and Eve will particularly knows how she will decide what to do based on what Alice says, she can try to influence, but then she has confused Bob. And so the situation goes like this. Um, if Alice knows Eve exists and uh, so you see my point, I don't want to continue. The real question is who decides what Eve will do and will Bob run away? Um, so I will just say this explicitly. There is a way to model these things using current game theoretical tools. If this is the correct approach to model this problem using game theory, then all the National Security Agency, CF, Snowden, etc., had accomplished is to be a cock blocker. So I will continue because it's a very interesting blog. I want to make a parenthesis here to make the point that I congratulate, in quotes, I really like now the fact that the British government apologized to Turing, and there is a link in the text box below with a reference to that. So the argument with posthumous apology or pardon to Turing, the real thing is why did they apologize to Turing and not the other gay people? And this video contains the answer. So Turing was considered a national threat. Maybe there should be a trial around this of a different nature. Who decided that? Who has the right to condemn creativity for the name of national security. So maybe, I don't know, of course. So it was a great thing that they did that, but maybe they should try to investigate what beautiful mind thought about this execution. It would be worth to ponder what kind of legal framework would be appropriate to carry out this trial. So the government is a big thing, is not. So sometimes you want to assume the government is united, and sometimes you want to localize and eliminate the damage. So maybe a, a trial of a specific nature, I don't know what it is, I'm not a lawyer, could be, and I want to say a body could be instituted to investigate this, maybe.